Clary Act statistics have shown a steady rise in sexual assault reports from Ohio University students in recent years. In 2014, there were 21 reported rapes at the school's Athens campus. Last year's report showed 32. Athens Chief of Police Tom Pyle says while reports are definitely on the rise, what is the cause of the increase isn't as clear.
It remains to be seen exactly what has caused the increase. I'm not sure if it's an increase in incidents or if it's perhaps a preference from survivors to want to report, at least in some fashion. We have seen an increase in survivors reporting anonymously, and then that's done kind of to protect their options down the road. And that's something that we strongly recommend, even if somebody doesn't want to come forward and pursue a criminal matter, that they at least start the process anonymously by getting a sexual assault kit done within 72 hours.
Both the Athens and Ohio University police departments have been closely cooperating in their investigations of the recent reports, and the transparency from both departments seems to be having some students feeling more comfortable.
I wouldn't say I feel less unsafe. I think that the reason that these are coming up so much more now is because people are more comfortable to talk about them. So I feel that now that it's more aware of it happening, I feel honestly a little bit more safe.
For now, both police departments have said they'll have increased patrols at night as well as more cooperation in the future. Regardless of there being a true increase in incidents or not, OUPD has advised students to be as aware of their surroundings as possible, especially at night. Reporting live for Newswatch, I'm Ben Schwartz.
Thank you, Ben. People are also speaking out on social media because of the constant threat of alerts. Some think OUPD needs to do more. At BHUG_17 tweeted, "Dear Athens/OUPD, yes, underage drinking is a problem. Yes, you should enforce when you can, but when there has been 4 rapes within the first 2 weeks of students being on campus and not an end in sight, know what your priorities are. Sincerely, frightened girls." Others are using the platforms to educate people. Brennan's Coffee Cafe shared an article detailing how to stay safe by using apps on your phone. Efforts are being made to raise the age people can buy tobacco in Marietta. Tobacco 21, an initiative from Washington County's Health Department, aims to raise the age requirement to 21. A public survey result from yesterday shows that 75% of the 335 returned surveys are for raising the age to 21. Tobacco Prevention Coordinator Stephanie McPeak says the goal of increasing the age is to reduce the number of smokers in the area. Voters will now have a chance to see the major party candidates running for Ohio governor debate. The campaigns say they've agreed to 3 debates in the fall. The first debate between Republican Mike DeWine and Democrat Richard Cordray is set for September 19th at the University of Dayton, while the others are scheduled for October in Marietta and in Cleveland. The campaigns say additional details will be released at a later date. The winner of the November general election will succeed Governor John Kasich. Construction on East State Street is done, but plans for Richland Avenue have just begun. A replacement bridge project on Richland Avenue will begin next summer while most OU students are away from Athens. The project will cost almost $1 million. Some money will come from the Federal Highway Administration and some from the City of Athens. The current bridge was built in 1935. The new bridge will be built to better hold load limits. 1 lane of traffic will remain on the bridge during the project. Today, the Albany Independent Fair will be holding derbies. The Power Wheels and Outlaw Lawnmower derbies were held earlier today. The Demolition Derby starts at 7. Starting at 8, there will also be a youth dance party. The fair runs until Sunday when they'll have a parade through the town at noon.
It's good to be back on campus for this second week of classes. Hi everybody, I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. We hit a high of 85 today and it's been warm, muggy, and just ugly the past couple of days, and it's still warm and muggy out there right now, nowhere near the normal of 80. And look at this record. However, we didn't really quite reach the record, which is very good. We were closer to that on Monday though. Our low today was 69. Right above the normal of 53, nowhere close to the record low of 31 back in 1988. Look at the sunrise and sunset. 6:51 a.m. for the sunrise, 7:39 p.m. on the sunset. We are only 2 weeks away from the autumnal equinox, and before we know it, we'll be in wintertime. Just something to think about before those days get shorter and shorter. All across the area, temperatures have relatively cooled off. 76 in Columbus, 78 in Newark, 78 in New Lexington, 80 in Cambridge. We have some spotty showers all across the area, especially right along the Ohio River towards Marietta and Ripley. Those will kind of continue to move on through the area as we go throughout the night. But here's your evening planner. Again, scattered showers are possible. 79 at 8, 77 at 10, and 75 at midnight. Watch out for an isolated shower. We can't rule an isolated shower out, especially further north into the viewing area up along the I-70 corridor. So keep that in mind in case you're going out and about. Bring a jacket just in case. 68 tonight in Athens, mainly cloudy. Showers will be after midnight. Winds will be out of the northwest at 0 to 5 miles an hour. All across the area, temperatures tonight will be generally in the middle and upper 60s. 64 in Columbus and Newark, 65 in New Lexington. Here in Athens, 66, 71 in Ripley, 71 in Marietta, 71 in New Martinsville, 66 in Cambridge, 72 the warm spot down in Ironton. Rain off to the west, but off to the south and east, mainly cloudy skies. Watch out for an isolated shower. We have current watches and warnings in effect. We have a flash flood watch for Franklin, Pickaway, Ross Pike, Licking, Fairfield, and Hawking counties. Watch out for 3 to 6 inches of rain. This is from Saturday afternoon to Monday morning. 3 to 6 inches of possible rain, locally higher amounts possible within that flash flood watch. So just keep that in mind. Day planner, 68 tomorrow at 8, 71 at 10, 72 at noon, with showers likely throughout the day. 75, showers possible especially tomorrow in the morning. Winds will be out of the north-northeast at 0 to 5. All across the area, temperatures will be in the lower middle to upper 70s and lower 80s. And this is all due to an area of low pressure stretched out across the plain states, and this front will kind of stall out, which will allow the rain to come in. But the extended forecast, look at next week. 78 on Tuesday, 82 on Wednesday, 85 on Thursday. Rain on and off throughout the week next week.
A 26-year-old rapper in Pittsburgh, David, was reported dead earlier today. Mac Miller, known by his many young fans as a prominent figure in the music industry, publicly struggled with drug addiction. Miller was found in his California home of an apparent drug overdose. He was scheduled to start a country ride tour next month. Cincinnati police released surveillance videos of yesterday's bank shooting. The footage was edited but may be hard for some viewers to watch. Police Chief Elliot Isaac says the footage shows the heroic actions of the security officers at the Fifth Third Center.
We're going to get through this, and Cincinnati is strong because of people, everyday citizens who build buildings, who do their jobs, who work as IT. Once again, we would just want to express our incredible sadness and grief and condolence to those who senselessly lost their loved ones yesterday.
The surviving victims are at University of Cincinnati Medical Center. One is in critical condition, the other is in serious condition. When Newswatch returns, Thomas Skarvik will be live in an in-depth look at what's happening in Southeast Ohio sports.
8 long months, folks, but your patience has paid off. I'm Blake Baker, host of our special 20th season, here to say football is back, and we have never been more excited. Each week, our crew will have fresh highlights and all the history you can handle. But we also need a few things from you. First, watch our show. We go live at 11:30 Friday nights and air again Saturdays at 11 a.m. Next, connect with us online. Our Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and website are your best resources for daily content. And always remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
We've got a special Sports Friday coming your way. Welcome back. I'm your host, Thomas Garvick. The Ohio Bobcats opened up the 2018 season with a win, but later on, Ohio football reporter Lucas Moore joins me to discuss why there could be trouble for the Green and White. But first, Gridiron Glory host Blake Baker is in the studio as we take a look at what we've seen through the first 2 weeks of the year. But what we haven't seen yet is the new Trimble Tomcats Stadium. It's been under renovations after its bleachers were deemed unsafe by health inspectors. Gridiron Glory co-host Noah Wolf visited Gloucester a couple weeks ago to see how close the Tomcats are to having a new home.
The lights, the goalposts, the scoreboard, and the green grass is all there. But one big thing that's missing? Bleachers. During a site inspection last August, an engineer ruled the original Gloucester Stadium to be structurally unsound. The nearly 80-year-old stadium was torn down at the end of last year. Now, focus shifts to preparing a new permanent home for the Tomcats. They had to relocate their first home game, but they're aiming to play their next one, scheduled for September 22nd, at their new home. John Hurd, superintendent of Trimble Local Schools, gave a rundown on what the updated Gloucester Stadium would look like.
Where we're at right now will be bleachers once they're put up. As you see, the sidewalk across the backs for handicap and general population accessibility, and these are the landings for handicap. And then where these cars are parked along State Route 13 will be where our handicap parking will be once it's completed. We're not going to have everything ready, but we have temporary occupancy, and we look, and our objective here is to have bleachers for people to sit in a safe environment.
Hurd said that when the project is completed, it will be a testament to Tomcat pride.
The people coming here every day, working into the wee hours of the night to make sure that this project gets completed is unique, and it's a tribute to the town.
For Newswatch, I'm Noah Wolf.
Since the airing of the story, a couple of updates. The team played its last home game against Belpre in Athens, and the home stadium is expected to be ready to go come week 4. He's the face you recognize on Friday nights. Gridiron Glory's host Blake Baker joins me live now on desk. Blake, hey, thanks for joining me, man.
Absolutely. I'm a little out of practice on the desk, but I am a little bit more relaxed, so thank you for inviting me for this bid here.
So I kind of want to just dive right into what we've kind of seen the first couple weeks. I want to start with the Trimble Tomcats. And boy, they have looked really, really sharp. 2-0 to start the season.
Dangerous. They're looking dangerous. The running game even more so. Just 1 yard shy of 600 on the year, and they've outscored their opponents by 62 points through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think a big part of that is Cam Kittle, that running game with Max Hooper and Connor Wright. They've been phenomenal running the football.
Yeah, Hooper in the backfield and Cam Kittle under center. Real experience back there, knows when to improvise and use his feet. He contributes to that run game a lot.
And we kind of talk about the physicality of that team. You can just kind of tell that they just really have that special feel on the offensive line.
Absolutely. Ground and pound, shut them down. That's their philosophy under Ferris there.
And they kind of did that against a team that's struggling right now, the Nelsonville York Buckeyes. They're 0-2, just 7 points so far.
They certainly did. Trimble put it to their rival Buckeyes. The Buckeyes defense not really getting them into the games like they would want. 41 of their 72 points allowed this season in the second half, and they've only scored 7 points themselves too.
Yeah, and I think Mikey Seal at the quarterback position struggling a little bit, but that offensive line's a big concern.
Yeah, and just a lot of missed opportunities for them. You saw last week when they're on their own goal line on 2nd and 5 and miss a long ball that would have gone for 6 and then throw a pick 6 themselves. So just things like that kind of epitomize where they're at right now.
And that's why with the Buckeyes struggling, that's why Athens, it's the TVC Ohio.
Absolutely, and that team can score. They're big up front. They got so many weapons in the backfield. 82 points through the first 2 games, the most since 2014 when they had that record-breaking season. They scored 118 in the first 2.
Joey Moore, Clay Davis, all those guys, they're phenomenal. And I just kind of want to jump into week 3. Kind of what are your expectations?
I think the game I'm probably most looking forward to is this Sheridan-John Glenn game. It's a game that we're going out to live for. We're going out to a live shot from the Sheridan Stadium. This one was pretty close last year in the year that John Glenn had. And this team is both teams full of athletes, especially on the perimeter. Sheridan's big as well. I think this one's going to be good. Come down to the wire tomorrow.
And I feel like the NBL's just kind of always been that way. It's kind of that grind. It's always been a close conference.
Absolutely.
Well, Blake, thank you for joining me, my man. We appreciate it. And hey, Gridiron Glory, we'll be sending reporters out to 7 games this week. And here's a look at what's coming up tonight.
Part of the 20th anniversary for Gridiron Glory is the addition of the documentary team. They're tasked with taking a look back at the rich history of Southeast Ohio football. Brand journalist Nate Busilla, a member of that team, takes us back to '99, where a record still stands.
The 3 touchdowns were in the first half of the Belpre game, and that is believed to be a state record for most kickoff returns for touchdowns in one half.
I mean, how many times do you see 3 kickoffs returned for a touchdown in a game, let alone a half?
Let's play the game on the kickoff. Belpre Scott Elzy kicking off to Superman Eric Gabriel. He doesn't waste any time here, folks. Taking it 80 yards for a touchdown. Is there anything that this kid can't do?
You just, at the moment, you don't realize it is what it is, because every kickoff I tried to return. You know, that was one of the things we did.
Today's social media and media coverage, it would have been regionally known, if not nationally.
Next kickoff, Gabriel from the 4 takes it out.
I can't think of a better person than Eric Gabriel to have that in the record books.
96-yard kick return touchdown, number 2 for Gabriel on the day.
I think it was the 3rd one, but John Irvin absolutely laid somebody out for a block.
Watch the block here by John Irvin. Boom! Big block by number 55.
They squib kick down the middle. There's 7 seconds left. I'm screaming at him to throw me the ball. And everybody else is just blocking. No one really knows what's going on. And
goes back right here, even goes backwards to dodge some players. And there he goes again. Are you kidding me?
The locker room was at that end of the field, I think. I think I just ran in the end zone.
His 3rd of the game, all in the first half. 251 return yards for Gabriel. But in the second...
It was one of the coolest things in sports I've ever seen or been a part of.
It's very special player to come through there at Alexander.
It was cool. It was cool, and it's something I'll never forget.
Well, Eric, first of all, in the middle of summer and talking with you really weren't going to play football. What made you change your mind?
I guess the main thing that changed my mind is when we was in 6th grade, one of our best friends died, and he loved the game of football.
To see how part 2 unfolds, tune into Gridiron Glory tonight at 11:30.
Well, Blake, hey, it's always a pleasure to have you on desk. And hey, Gridiron, remember everybody, it's tonight. Get ready. It's going to be fun. And you can keep up with Gridiron Glory's coverage on social media. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. There you can get real-time game updates, videos, and even interact with Blake and all the reporters. And of course, tune in to the live show every Friday night, as I mentioned earlier, at 11:30 p.m. Coming up, SportsBeat host Lucas Moore will join me to preview next week's Ohio football game. And plus, there's a bunch of new coaches for Ohio athletics this year. But one of them is no stranger to Athens, how she is using her Ohio experience to help the team.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Thomas Garbrick. We talked high school sports earlier, but now it's time to talk about those Cats that play on Saturdays. Ohio football reporter and sports beat host Lucas Moore joins me to talk about Ohio's Week 1 win over Howard, but it wasn't the best win.
Well, when you play an FCS school that you're favored to beat by 30 points, a 38-32 victory where you had to stop 2 drives in the fourth quarter, that's not the type of win you're looking for whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think the shocker was Nathan Rourke gets yanked after 3 series, just stunning.
Yeah, and everybody's going to talk about this game and say the story was Quentin Maxwell played better than Nathan Rourke. But if you just look at the first 3 series, both quarterbacks produced about 70 yards of offense. And Quentin Maxwell had 7 points, Nathan Rourke had 3, but a missed field goal, so you can say 6 points. I think that their performance was very similar through the first 3 series. I'm not sure why Coach Solich gave more opportunity to Quentin Maxwell. It might have been something he saw in training camp, but all the reports we heard was that Nathan Rourke looked sharper from his record-breaking season.
Yeah, and I think part of obviously the offense, it got off to a bit of a slow start. But then you look at the defense, they gave up over 600 total yards.
Well, the defense is the biggest worry. If you have this quarterback controversy and your defense looks like a normal Ohio defense, a strong defense, one that's going to compete in the MAC, you're not worried. But 645 yards against an FCS team, I don't care if it's Joe Montana, Cam Newton's brother, that's something that's just not going to be able to get it done in the Mid-American Conference. They've got to be better defensively or else it won't matter who's playing quarterback, because if you're going to give up 50-plus points a game, you could have, again, Joe Montana or actual Cam Newton in the backfield, and you're not going to be able to win football games.
But you got to think Javon Hagan was out with a concussion that came out later after the game, and Jamal Hudson will probably most likely be in that Virginia game. So you got to think that's going to make a difference.
That's the hope. The hope is Javon Hagan is as elite as we're hoping he's going to be, and he's a complete game changer on that defense. But it's worried 645 yards is a lot to make up.
Quick keys to the Virginia game. What do you want to see from this Bobcat team come Saturday?
Well, you want to see the defense. You want to see Javon Hagan play better. And me personally, I would love to see Nathan Rourke get a fair shot, a fair shake, and an opportunity to prove that he is one of the best quarterbacks that's ever worn the green and white, because I have a personal belief that he is, and I think a lot of the coaching staff does as well.
Cats are off this week, but hey, Virginia, probably their biggest test of the year. It's coming next Saturday.
It'll be fun. Virginia's a lot better than we thought they'd be, and Ohio a little bit worse than we thought they'd be. So I think it'll be a great matchup in Charlottesville.
Lucas, thanks for joining me.
I appreciate it, Tom.
Even with no football, Ohio teams have plenty of action this weekend. Women's soccer has a game in a couple minutes against Cleveland State. On Sunday, the Bobcats have a matchup with Wright State at home. Then the women's volleyball team plays their second game in the Bobcat Invitational tonight. And then Ohio faces Virginia Tech at 7:30 p.m. in the Convocation Center. Then the Bobcats wrap it up against IUPUI on Saturday. Hey, don't forget about cross country. They will run in the Bluegrass Invitational Saturday morning. And then all day Sunday, the women's golf team will compete at the Redbird Invitational. Sometimes there's an awkward transition for new coaches, but that doesn't seem to be the case for the new Ohio field hockey team. What the players think of their new coach next when we return.
It's been 8 long months, folks, but your patience has paid off. I'm Blake Baker, host of our special 20th season, here to say football is back, and we have never been more excited. Each week, our crew will have fresh highlights and all the history you can handle. But we also need a few things from you. First, watch our show. We go live at 11:30 Friday nights and air again Saturdays at 11 a.m. Next, connect with us online. Our Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and website are your best resources for daily content. And always remember, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, It's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back into this special Sports Friday. I'm your host, Thomas Garverick. There's several new head coaches at Ohio this year. One of them, field hockey coach Allie Johnstone. She once played and coached the team as an assistant. Now she's back for good, with one thing in mind, winning MAC championships.
Got their knuckles down here, right? So not getting their feet all the way around.
She's back in Athens and she can't believe it.
It just seems so surreal that I get to come back and be a coach again. It's great.
Nothing but positive vibes from her team.
A lot of smiley faces. Yeah, it's been really wonderful getting here.
And the girls have embraced her with open arms.
We're super excited for just like a new energy, and she's been great. I feel like she's done like wonders for us already.
It didn't take too long for Johnstone to make an impact.
Okay, so try and get as far as you can, and we're just going to try and hold.
She has such an immense knowledge of the game that we can have fun and goof off, but then when it's time to get down to business, it's time to get down to business.
But she can relate to her players off the field too.
Since she played here and she played Division I field hockey, she understands kind of what we're going through.
Just use your stick, okay? Or your hand.
That's why the chemistry with her players was instant.
I think it really just made the transition so much easier because it wasn't like an awkward phase of trying to get to know each other. She was just out in the open, this is who I am.
Oh, hello.
She wants to have fun, but wants more than just one MAC title.
No, I plan on having a few of them. Yeah, absolutely.
And come game time,
I hope that the team has fun, but once we step on that hockey pitch, we're very serious and we're focused about our hockey.
Johnstone and the Bobcats are off to a bit of a slow start this year. This is one of the younger teams at Ohio, so they're still trying to work out those early season kinks. The team is back in action next Saturday. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Thomas Garverick, and stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.